Good afternoon, late afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever it is that you're tuning in from. I've just thought I'd come on here and have a go. Right, I'll just see what happens. It's been a while. There's been a lot going on in my head in the background, as per usual. And I thought that the only way to deal with a lot of the stuff that's going on in regard to the work that I do is to just chuck myself out there once again and see if anybody wants to join me. So at the minute, I'm not showing as seeing anybody online. The idea is, like it usually is with me, I have a bit of a natter, a brew, which is always important. And if anybody wants any tarot readings or anything like that, then it's all good. So what's been going on with me? Well, it's been a bit of a difficult time. I love doing what I do with the spiritual work, and I've been on the circuit now for 8 years. I've been lucky enough to tour up and down the country doing various events and appearances and things like that. And it all sounds really grand. It's not, it's one of them where you get an opportunity to go out there and do what you do with readings and things like that. And it's an absolute privilege that I meet a lot of different eclectic people. And it's been consistent. Certain places that you go to draw big crowds, and certain other places draw just enough of a crowd so that you make a little bit of money when you come back, and then it justifies you going the next time. This is where the problem's now lying, that there's people out there that instead of just like working for the people, it's all become competitive and saturated. So you're turning up at events there and somebody's had one the week before or is having one the week after. And the thing is, I'm a realist. I realise that people are not always going to be there. They haven't got the money. So they're holding on to their money. So this is having a dramatic impact on the events that I'm going to. And it's got a little bit frustrating, if I'm being perfectly honest. So I'm at this point now where what I would call a bit of a crossroads point. I don't like the terminology crossroads. And if anybody's ever known me and speaking before, they know that I don't like the crossroads moment, because I believe that if you get to that point and you're looking at choices, then you should realistically pick the one that's best for you. Now, for me, where I'm coming up to this point where I'm going, there's change evident, there's changes needed, but I'm not seeing the choices. So I've kind of retreated. Maybe my bottom lip's gone down a little bit. I'm not the most confident on doing these lives on YouTube. So I thought, right, let's go back to what you are confident at doing. And that's being on Facebook. But if you look now, when I did this prior, then I would get lots of people coming on there for a reading. And even this has got limited appeal to people. So I've been going now for 3 minutes and I'm not showing as having anybody on here at all. So if nobody comes on, this will be a bit of a short recording, won't it? So I've been doing my level best. Hi, Penny. I've been doing my level best to just keep my head above water. And there's been a lot that's been emotionally bothering me just recently. I've been told not to sort of focus and overanalyze on the fact that I believe I'm neurodivergent and ADHD. But the thing is, it's had a dramatic impact on my life. How I cope and how I manage things have all been impacted by what I believe is happening. So that's had an impact on my professional work life. So again, slowing the delivery down, slowing the sort of time frame down so that I don't feel like I'm making mistakes or I'm rushing by or I'm not compensating, not doing what I need to do. It's been quite a weird time for me, because it's almost like healing in retrospect, because you're looking at things that have gone by and just going, oh wow, now that makes a lot more sense. Now I can view it through another lens. So I've been doing a lot of healing work on myself, a lot of work where I'm going, I now understand things a little bit better. But it's like me and the wife was saying the other day, the thing is about life itself is when you get hit with difficult things and you look at how you cope with it, there comes a point in your life, regardless of what your label is, whether you've got ADHD or you've got anxiety or you've got stress or depression, that you have to find a way to make the move through that next bit. Like there is no option, because life doesn't wait for you. So my thought was, right, okay, I'll get back into the gym, which I have now successfully done. I've been back in the gym for 6 months, and I'm definitely feeling the benefit from it. Going into like doing lots of exercise out with the dogs, and going out there, and that helps with the mental mind frame as well, because it's peaceful. It allows thoughts to come and go and process. And then I was hit by a bit of a body blow that unfortunately one of my dogs has taken poorly, and I had to have just put to sleep a couple of weeks ago, and that really did kick me in the teeth. That really did. I know it's part of having animals that you kind of like sign up to that, but I wasn't prepared for the emotional impact when it hit me. It's not like I'm new to it. It's happened to me a couple of times before where I've had to have dogs put to sleep, and it is really tough. But I wasn't prepared for this one, because she'd had a good life. She'd had 12 and a half years, but 13 and a half years, even, I correct myself. But the impact of her passing was just like, I couldn't function properly. You know, I've always honoured my promises to my animals that I will always be with them right to the end. So doing that horrible bit where you go in and you sit with them while their life is basically ended. And it was I was traumatized by it. I'm not going to lie, but I wasn't prepared for it, even being of the spiritual nature that I held her when she went. And it knocked me all over the place. So for like 2 or 3 days, I couldn't function properly. Then, like life does, there was other things that were going on that weren't major, but they all still needed managing. And they all still need managing, even when you've got grieving going on, when you've got stress going on, when you've got anxiety going on. You've just got to manage them. And then there was an element of frustration and anger coming in, because there was a couple of other things that were out of my control. And it's just like this huge pile of stuff. Now, most people can find a way to sort of compartmentalize it and just go, right, we'll deal with this bit, that bit, that bit, and that bit, and we'll do it in order. What happens in my brain is, when I get a pile of stress like that, I still think that I can lift any amount of weight in the world, and I take it all on my shoulders. You might get people that are saying to you, you're looking a bit stressed, or you're struggling, do you want to talk about it? Well, my experience is that no, I don't want to talk about it, because I've been let down in the past, and that's now ingrained in the memory. So you keep it with your nearest and dearest. You look at your nearest and dearest and then go, well, they've got things going on as well, so I don't want to overburden them. Then you start to overanalyze it, and it becomes this big pile of what I call mind treacle, that despite whatever it consists of, you keep walking through it. And I found it incredibly difficult. So I've sought sort of escapism, if you like, where I'd go into my garden and I'd sit in the garden and let things just gradually wash over me. But that's been impacted as well. So it gets to that point where you're just going, do you know what? I just need to stop. And I came onto YouTube, and then there's certain YouTubers that I follow that seem to be in conflict with one another. And I'm just, my head just went like this. It's like, I can't process this. So I withdrew from YouTube as well. And then when you start going to shows and events like I do, this forum, this way of doing it, generates me work, right? It generates me reading. So it's one of those necessary evils, because I can assure you, if I didn't have to come onto YouTube and Facebook and things like that to generate an awareness of what I do, I don't think I'd ever come inside again, because I just get like really worked up, because when you've got a single track mind, all I want to do is help people. Like, I don't want to get involved in anybody else's drama. Like, I don't want to get involved in anybody else's opinion of who said why, what, because I'm on the side of the client that sat in the chair opposite me or the audience that sat opposite me. Right? What they do to other people is their response. Right? I don't condone bullying or anything like that, but unless it directly involves me, I'm not going to get drawn into any of it. Because what I've tend to find with it is whatever your opinion is, if you're passing an opinion, it's taking energy off you. Right. And it's taking energy off me when I was at quite a low level as well. So I just thought, right, I'll just kick back from it. So I've sat by the kettle because I love my brew. I picked my cards out and I've done what I can do to get by. And I'm at this turning point in life because honestly, I don't know what comes next. So I've just thought, right, go back to basics. Go back to basics. Just get on here, talk to people and be honest. I don't know enough about editing to make it all pretty. So today was about actually tying myself down to a schedule and sticking to it. And I can proudly announce that I managed to produce 2 pieces of content today and get them published. I've also started writing my readings and messages for the weekend, which I sell when I go to the fairs and events. So I've got a few of them done. So my day has been very productive. I've not had the time to overthink and overanalyze. So that for me is a big step. I've also been over the last few months taking lion's mane to help see if it makes any difference with the moods, because that is the big thing that I've had issues with, is that what has stung me, if you like, what has caused me difficulties is if I've taken to getting up in the morning and getting up early and I'm not in the right frame of mind for anything, then nothing happens. And I found that incredibly frustrating. So then have been the days where I've gone out and hammered myself at the gym because don't take any thinking about doing any of that. So that's back where I am. So I'm coming to the point now with my work where I hope it will continue full time as it is now and with branching off into the therapy. But I don't know, right? And this is my answer to a lot of the questions that's being asked of me at the moment is I don't know. And it's not because I'm looking for sympathy. It's not because I'm looking for somebody to pat me on the head and say, oh, you know, things will get better and everything. It really isn't. It's just like feeding out to the world and connecting in with other people's energies and seeing what comes back. So I've got a couple of things coming up that I'm looking forward to that will involve me performing in some way or another, probably a new talk or something that I'm going to debut when I next go on stage or platform. And what I want to do is reconnect with the Facebook audience and with the growing YouTube audience, because I'm working with that law of attraction that it got a bit stagnant. But I was talking to the wonderful Annabelle at Fortune Cookies. So any of you guys that are on here that know Annabelle, she kindly, even with all of her workload, turned around and said, what can I do to help you? And I said, well, nothing really, because this is what it comes down to when I talk to people about thought therapy. Like, to do what Annabelle does is very tiring. She's constantly recording, researching, doing what she needs to do, sharpening her skills, getting herself ready to be in that space where she's working. And I look at her and she's got into the thousands now of people that subscribe to her channel. Now, when I look at what she does now, to get to the next level with people, you've almost got to emulate what they do. I'm not saying be them, but be like them with the work ethic. So am I prepared to sit in here for hours on end, researching and getting myself in a readiness space? Answer's no. I've just not got that concentration spell. Am I prepared to put the amount of effort in that Annabelle does? No. And that's the truth. So the results that I get will be less. And that's down to me. Nobody can make you want to do something. That's down to you to motivate yourself. So it's one of those things about organizing myself and looking at what skills and what things I've got in my toolbox that will enable me to get to a certain level. If I'm unrealistically looking at things and going, I want to do like Annabelle does, then I've got to match her workload. And that's where the shortfall is with me. So at the minute, what I'm looking at doing now is just gradually building myself back up. I'm into that thing where, because I don't know enough about algorithms and all of the rest of it, I'm just going, right, I'll put something on like this. I'll put some thoughts out there. I'll put that out there. I'll stick a thumbnail on it because I've learned how to do that, and we'll see what happens. And what I believe will happen with that, it's like an organic growth. So the organic growth there will then, like, it'll be natural. YouTube won't be able to take people off you because it's just going to be one or two or maybe even three people over the course of a few weeks, like a trickle thing. But what it's doing is making me accountable for the work that I'm doing. My issue is, honestly, at the moment, is that because the moods are up and down like that, then I can't consistently commit to doing the work that I need to do. And all of the coursework that I've done just recently says about doing these lives and doing that. The one thing that you need out of everything else is consistency. You've basically got to show up and be you. And if you don't show up and be you, how can you expect other people to follow you? So it's kind of a bit of a catch-22 with me. Well, yeah, I'm going to highlight that comment there, Samantha, because I think that has got to be right. And this is coming from somebody who was born and brought up on a council estate. Hi, Val. I hope you're well. So so it makes me smile, that does, because I was on the council estate, and you're absolutely right. And when you come on here and people are like battling with one another, it just defeats the purpose for me, because and this is the frustrating thing. If you look at another one that I follow, Fitness Hutch, right? Fitness Hutch on there had the most views on his content when he was talking about the drama that other people have been having. How do you fathom that out? So you can put on sorry, I'm laughing at the next comment there. Ask away, because we will get to readings if anybody wants one. It was just a bit of a catch-up. Yeah. And you can put on content that actually means something and that is insightful, right? And that you want an answer to, or you want support with, and you want guidance with, and you'll get next to nobody that's interested. Put on like that somebody's having a ruck or having a bit of a Barney or a Discord or whatever, and he said, she said, whatever, and everybody in the world sits down with a bag of popcorn, and it's brilliant, isn't it? You know, it's like watching, I don't know, the next episode of Trash TV, and I'm going, I'm too serious for this shit. And yet I'm not serious at all. So I'm doing this where it'll be a bit of a waffle for a start, because I'm basically like, if I've come back from an illness, I haven't had an illness, but basically coming back from an illness, that you start again as best you can. And I'm in that void space at the moment where I'm looking in there and I'm looking to construct a future without any tools at the moment, because I honestly don't know where to look. So yes. So what is the question, Valerie, about an incited question about a council house? Come on, hit me with it. See if I've got any expertise on that one. Drama and debunking is absolutely huge. People thrive. It's true. You know, sadly, it's true. And this baffles me on my YouTube journey, that people are like that. But I think it's one of those that you have to get with the program or get off. Right, because there was a book. Anybody that knows me well or has known what the sort of work that I do, I loved, and I say loved because I don't have Sky anymore, WWE wrestling. So from that, I've sort of soaked up every bit of information that I can off the internet about anything to do with the WWE, WCW, TNA, and all of those sort of groups that I've watched over the years. And I've read a few of the books and the biographies. And one of the books that I read was called Controversy Creates Cash. And I thought about the mindset of that. And it really does, doesn't it? It really does stand up to reasoning. You put out a good product, right, and people will watch it and go, well, that was interesting. Yeah, I suppose, yeah, I can get behind that. You put out the mystery in the background and you start to debunk something, or you start to throw up an alternative viewpoint and you get sort of controversial and you're in people's faces, then you will have a queue of people coming in there and you've got an audience, right? Once you've got an audience, you can perform to an audience. But if you sit here and you're trotting out stuff that is just individual to one person and everybody sat there going, oh, well, they obviously need that, doesn't drum up that energy, doesn't drum up that dramatic energy. So I'm a little bit lost with it. So I've looked at other YouTubers on here where I just go, oh my God, I can't believe that you get any views. But then that's my opinion, right? And obviously, if they're getting views on content that is, for me, is like pretty bland, then they've obviously hit the right niche some way or another, because people are looking at them and going, they've got whatever it is that I need at that moment. And I don't get it. I really don't. So the idea of coming on tonight, and I am going to plug this guy, because this guy here is going to be on YouTube, Facebook, I believe. And we met for the first time at the weekend. Now, I've known about Steve's reputation as a medium. He is brilliant. He really is brilliant. But we actually got the opportunity to actually speak face to face, because, again, this lot, as we were saying about the drama, is a theatre, isn't it, really? It's non-real, but everybody seems to see it as like the next episode of EastEnders. But get on and if you got the opportunity to watch Steve's live, because I don't know whether he'll be linking in with YouTube or not, but when he's on Facebook, I think he's on at 8 o'clock. Correct me if I'm wrong, Steve. And go onto his page and just watch Steve. Steve is just a natural. And what I like about mediums like Steve is that what they see, or what they sense, what they feel, is what they give. Me, I'm a storyteller. I will get the sense of something, and I'll get people to pick cards and things like that, and I will get a reading based off the inanimate object. Steve is 100% natural. What is going through his mind is what comes out of his mouth, and it's absolutely brilliant. So I'm bullying him up there. Yeah, right. Let's have a look. Fitness Touch, choose life. Yeah, absolutely. And again, with those, Paul, I work within the prison service, so that's our connection, and we go back a long way. And the thing that I've always admired about Paul is it's very unlikely that we are ever going to see eye to eye 100% on everything. But I think that's prison officers and ex-prison officers, because you've got to be some sort of twisted individual, I think, to be able to maintain a long time in that job without becoming a little bit affected by it, a little bit institutionalized. But the thing I've always admired about Paul is his directness and his straightness. There's no John Bull, there's no bullshit about it. He'll tell you what he thinks, and he'll base it on what he knows. Now, this is the thing for me about adult relationships, that you can have a disagreement with people, but you don't have to respond to it. So you might get pieces of information of people that is a valid opinion, but you think, oh no, that's hurtful for me. That's going to upset me. So I'm not going to get involved in that. Right. So don't get involved in it then. Don't add fuel to the fire. You can disagree from a distance, but as soon as you start getting into a vibration of anger and frustration, you're going to get other people that want to fuel it and put their 4 pence worth in. So I've always maintained the same thing right throughout my working life. If I've got a disagreement with somebody, I will take them to one side and I will deal with it privately, right? If somebody else chooses to involve somebody from the outside, well, then that's their business, and that might well be a different set of circumstances. But me personally do not like public drama that way. Anyway, it's just a viewpoint. It's just a thing, right? I put in for a housing. I'm wondering when the move is and if it is another council house or rented. Right. So let's just see. All right. Let's have a look, Valerie. Let's have a look. Hi, Pearl. Hope you well. Let's have a look. See what we're coming in. Now, if you tuned into Fortune Cookies and Annabelle, she would be able to structure a question like that. I'm going to be truthful with you. Thanks for watching, but it's not my way of doing things. But we'll see what comes up. So I've got a card here there straight away that sort of popped out, and I'm going, oh, okay, right. The thing is about when you're dealing with people's expectations, what I am as a medium and a spiritual worker and a tarot worker is that I give you what is given to me, not what you want always. So when I'm looking at that, I put in for a housing transfer. I'm in a council house. I have 3 special needs kids, need more space. I'm wondering when the move is and if it's in another council house or rented. Right, Valerie. So I've got 2 cards here that lead me to believe that it's not coming in anytime soon. I would love you to get what you need. I would love you to get your wish. But my sense is when I've got 2 swords cards like that, I've got the 3 of swords and the 10 of swords. So this is usually about distance by separation. So this is about like a situation that's causing you heartbreak or upset. It might be the fact that there's a relationship in some way or another that's disintegrated, and that's what is taking away your energy at the moment. That is one of the things there. It's not got a lot of power over you, but it's kind of like stormy skies and quarrelsome. So if we applied that to the situation that you're in, it's not the best situation for getting what you need, because it's like showing there that there's dark clouds in the background. So my suggestion is, coming off that, is, and this is not mediumship based, this is just purely based on the tarot, is I'm looking at that and I'm going, right, I need to tie up some loose ends. I need to be more specific about putting out to the housing association or about the council house or the rented or whatever. I need to be putting out more specific details so that I can attract that vibration in there. So if you've got anything in there that's causing you upset, this is the time to get it organized. Because if you don't, we've got the 10 of swords there, and anything to do with 10s is a completion or a phase or cycle. So my feeling with this is that at some point there's a directional change that is needed. So it might be in what you actually want to come out there might be different to what you're actually going to get. Because if we keep persisting on down the same track and we're not making any changes, then what this card always says to me is there's a potential for a disappointment at the end of that phase or cycle. What I like about that is that we've had a warning earlier with the 3. So it's maybe time for you to get some loose ends and things tidied up, and maybe looking at your circumstances and seeing if there's anything changed since you first put things out and whereabouts you are now. Because there's an air of sadness around the current situation. And we've got the King of Cups there. So when I see King of Cups, I always look at kings as authority figures. So this is about taking charge of your emotions for me. Anything to do with the masculine energy is all about taking charge. But this guy can be a little bit wishy-washy if not put in, if not directed, if not put in the right place. So there's maybe a part of you that's got to have that discipline about you and start now, instead of just like hoping and wishing, is putting things into practice now and just like chasing things up, pushing, getting your energy behind it. Because if you don't and you sit back and wait, my honest feeling is with that is that you're going to be flat for a while. So I know that's probably not the one thing that you wanted to hear, but that is what I picked up. And this is about what I do with my honesty. So your card from the angels is about balance. So this is like weighing things all up. Sometimes all of the things that we start out for all the best will in the world needs adjustment because we've got disappointment. Like I've had a lot just recently where I've heard things, I've sensed things, and people have made promises and then not come through with them. So it can be in that stage where you're just going, I need a bit of a reassessment. There's a gentleman's energy in the spirit world, though, that is coming through to support you through these next few months. And I feel that by the end of September, so we're looking at that new school term, that you will be settled in a place of your choosing. Okay, so that's good news. So temporarily summing up at the moment, not in a great area, but there's potential for that new offering, and I feel in September. So I hope I've explained myself well enough there. I always want to give the best. I always want to give the best answers, but sometimes you don't always get the news that you're looking for. But that's as I felt it. Okay, so I hope that was okay. Hi, Pearl. Yeah, I've just been explaining all the way through this. Very mood driven. I'm aware of what my moods and my limitations are, but also I don't know about you guys out there that are watching, because it's showing me as having 6 people on there now. That there's a lot of fluctuation with the world's energy, lots of strange events going on. And as a sensitive person to energy, it's having a big effect on me as well. So essentially, I'm being put in that position where the advice that I've been getting is to flow with the energy. And I'm not saying life's forcing me, but when you've got no other option other than to just go with it because there's nothing out there that you can structure or grab hold of, then maybe that's going to be for my own good. Because I'm not sure how much further I can go with this in its current way. So something has to change. And the thing is about changes is that we have to accept endings at some point for the new beginnings to come into place. And maybe that's where the position that I'm in, because a lot of the stuff that I've been consistently doing over the last sort of 7 or 8 years, a lot of it has come to an end. There's some things in place at the moment that I'm looking at that, again, I think is a potential ending, but like I'm worried about it. And oh my God, what's going to happen? Well, worrying about it ain't going to make any difference, because that ending, if it's meant to come in, has got to come in. And then I have to accept that to allow that next phase to come in. So I'm in there swinging. Right. Right, what you need help with, Paul? I'm not sure myself. Okay, it's working street. Oh, brilliant! Right, thank you. I appreciate that, Adi. That is very much appreciated. Awareness, really. When you say what do you need help with, audience, because the thing is, I've come from a background where I started out in the church things reading, which doesn't suit me because I'm not religious. I just honestly give what I get, and it's not always appropriate. I'm a showman. I like to entertain people and bring in upliftment. So I'm used to working with small audiences. But the saying used to be in there: those that need to turn up will turn up, and they will get the information and the energy, whatever it is that they need from it. So who's there is who's meant to be there. Unfortunately, from a business perspective, that can't fly. So doing audiences in front of 5 or 6 people is not cost effective for either the promoter or the person that's appearing there, because nobody makes any money out of it, and the clients and the customers certainly don't benefit from it. So it's promotion of the therapy side of the work that I do, and the bee in my bonnet, the hyper focus at the moment, is helping people that are trapped in sort of ancestral male dominated thought patterns. The hunter gatherer, I can't be sensitive. So my target audience is an audience that I've not previously tapped into, because my work that I do is I would say 98% of the people that I read for are you lovely ladies out there. Right, and the majority of those are in touch with their feelings. The blokes sort of stand in the background, the majority of them, and they've been dragged along by the missus. And you'll talk to them and you'll get a lot of close body language. So I'm targeting them on the mental health scale of working with analytical hypnotherapy practices and NLP things, and helping them unwrap the thought patterns. Because if you can get into somebody's mindset and see how they process, how they work their thoughts out and what they expect from their thoughts, you can provide assistance and support. So that is where my heart and my passion lies. But I don't want to give up the mediumship and the psychic work, because it has given me nothing but joy. There's been very little sadness given with it. I mean, everybody gets criticism in some way or another, or called a fake or a fraud or something like that, and I'll live with that. It happens. What I have to contend with as well is, when I've looked into this ADHD type of thing, is that this rejection sensitivity is a very real thing for me. So it's sometimes putting strategies in place for things that that are going to happen, that can lessen the impact on it. But like I was saying earlier on in this thing, that I can put all of that in a box, but none of that helped me process about my dog, not at all. So I've kind of like had to ride on that raw emotion, and I'm just getting back on my feet. Am I healed? Am I cured? No, I'm not. So I just want to trade on the aspect of when people come to me for a reading, I'll tell them what I do, which is tarot, mediumship, and guidance from the soul, which is basically through the heart and connecting with the spirit world, and what comes through is what will be delivered. And also from the perspective of doing the spiritual counseling and coaching, and it's providing a structure that the person feels safe in, so you build a rapport with the client and find out what they want. So when people come to me and I just go, right, you fix me, it's never going to happen. What I can do is provide a perspective on things. I can provide a look at things, and then you must decide whether it's useful to you or not. So I like to work in conjunction with people rather than saying, I'm the expert, I'm the guru, you need to do this, that, and the other, because that's just not me. It's not my way of coaching. It's not my want. It's not I don't have that need to do that. But my connection with people's energy is purely on a healing vibration. So when I sit with people and I talk, and I hope that people resonate with me. So I hope that explains me, because I'll always go round and round the houses. Oh dear. Oh dear. Yeah. 8 o'clock Facebook, Steve Rhino. So remember that he said that. I don't know how to do links out, Steve, or I'd link you in, mate, but I'm not sure how to do any of that sort of thing. Right. So let's have a card for Pearl. Thanks for sticking with me, guys. I thought there'd be a few on from Facebook, but obviously not. So I need to get it. But again, with anything, it's lessons, right? It's lessons. So I pulled you 3 cards, actually, Pearl, because I was going to give you 2, but 3 have fallen out. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to look at them all at once. I'm going to turn them over one by one, and whichever one I'm drawn to. So, this is great. So we talked about earlier on with the 10 there about completion of phases or cycles. Now the world is a victory card. It's a victorious card. So in this present moment now, there will be things there that you're looking at and you're weighing up and you're assessing. Am I on the right track? Is things coming to fruition? Well, yes, they are. Right. Now, this is where one of my little tales comes in. That with the world, I love the world card, because basically what it is showing there is you've got somebody there that's stood in their own light. The laurel leaf denotes victory, which means that you're in the right phase and you're in the right place. You're in a place of celebration coming up. You've had all of your hard work. Now, the thing is, people can sometimes get carried away with that. And I'll do in this work where I say you get compliments and insults in equal measure. I've had to find a way to deal with that aspect of things. So I have this, and it ties in nicely with this card, that if I get an insult, I'll say thank you, right? Because that person's used part of their life's hours to come to me and deliver that message. And I'll say thank you because for this reason, because I want to do better, right? If somebody comes to me and says, that was brilliant, I really love what you did, I say thank you, because again, they've used their life's hours to come and congratulate me, and I appreciate that. And I say thank you for the same reason, because I want to do better. So I let compliments and insults allow the same amount of time in my head, very little, because the thing about the world is be in that moment and celebrate all of the good things that you've done over these last 6 to 8 months, is what my guide is saying. But be mindful that once we've completed the phase or cycle at the world, we go back to being the fool again and waiting for the next experience. So enjoy your time over these next few months, sort of 2 to 3 months, because this is whereabouts I am with the mind cycle there. But be prepared that the journey starts again with a different trajectory. You've got the Page of Cups. So I don't know whether we've got anybody out there that's looking for romance or relationships or things like that. But the Page serves as a messenger. So anything to do with cups is all about emotions, things that make your heart sing, things that bring in like social invitations to weddings, engagements, babies. It's news. So basically a messenger delivers news of these heartfelt experiences. So my senses around you is that somebody, whether they're prepared or not, has got a little one on the way. So I've got the image in my mind of a stork being brought in. So I always say to people, if you're not looking to have children, if you can't be good, be careful. And if you can't be careful, buy a pram. Now, it's not saying that you're going to have children or anything like that, because I don't know you or know anything about you, but somebody around you that may well receive the news of something that they need to give birth to. So when we take that, it can be literally children, but it can be a new venture, it can be a new business, but anything that you put your heart into, put your energy into, is going to be victorious. And as I was saying, and I didn't purposely see this, is we've got the hanging man there. So the hanging man is all about sort of being in that position where it's like life is in that sort of suspended animation. This is the perfect card for me at the moment. So when you're hanging upside down as the hanging man there, all the blood is going to rush to your head and your perspective is going to be all over the place. So the answer to the hanging man is, right, I need to stand down, ground myself and have a look what's going on around me, then make plans to go forward. Because if it's spinning its heels, it's not going anywhere. And so we could cut forward to 6 months, 9 months down the line, and if I haven't took any action to assess what's going on, then I will still be hanging up in the rafters. Not a negative card or anything like that, but it talks about lateral thinking will solve a lot of the problems. So whatever's going on around you, my guides are talking about communication issues, I always like the direct approach. So if somebody's got something to say, right, come sitting with me and say it. I might not want to hear what you've got to say, but I will listen. So talking about communication issues, there's a lot of love coming through for you, Pearl, from a gentleman in spirit that's basically arm in arm. And I've just got, what's that scene? Oh, I'm just trying to see what it is. I think, if memory serves me correctly, it's Mary Poppins going down the street arm in arm with Dick Van Dyke doing the worst English accent ever. But they're going on a jolly holiday. So there's just something about a break or a plan or something coming up for you. So a lot of love being sent for you, and I hope you enjoy that. Right. Thank you. There's more. Yeah. Well, if you can, Valerie, if you can, then I would like put that intent out to the universe that that's what you want. Nothing more, nothing less. You know, don't send the compromise energy out there. I don't know whether that will make any difference, but it can't harm it, can it? You know, if you're putting out there that's what you need. Because I believe in what's called Amazon.spirit. Other shops are available, of course, but Amazon.spirit rely on direct communication. So when you're putting your order out to spirit, it is about asking what you actually literally want, rather than I want this, this, and this, or potentially this. Because what ends up happening is you get like a mixed bag of stuff, and that's not helpful whatsoever. So just keep that vibration high, keep putting out to spirit what you literally need, and be very specific about it. And I'm sure you will be where you need to be at that time that you're meant to be at. That right. The wife is asking if you thought any more about teaching tarot. She'd be interested. Well, to be honest, I am, like I said to you directly, I don't consider myself a teacher. Like when I look at these, and if there's anybody here that's like really mega experienced on tarot, I've spent a lot of money having teachings by people, and then my mind fecks off on a journey somewhere. So like what I've learned, you've got crib sheets and stuff like this. Well, this means this and this links with that, right? All I've retained from my tarot is that cups mean emotions, pentacles or coins mean finances and investment. Your swords mean your mind, your intellect, how you think, how you process. And your wands is your fire and your passion and your practical life. So I just sit there with that, and numbers progress through the tarot. So you've got your minor arcana, which goes through those 4 suits, and they progress from 1 to 10. So from start to finish. Then you've got your major arcana, which relate to other things outside of that pathway. All I do is I sit with a card and whatever comes through my mind. So it's part psychic, which is all about the energy and the vibration that's around the cards, and it's part spiritual, because I might well have a teacher or a guide that comes through and just go, right, pass on this message. So tarot is a story that you can tell and you can be taught it. I don't consider myself a teacher because I don't feel like it's an orthodox thing that I do. It's more my connection with the energy, and the tarot forms part of it. But it's certainly something I'll consider, because you're not the first person that's asked, and I'm pretty sure you won't be the last. But I'm just going to stand off that one for a while. Right. I'm doing my, I love doing my, show my feelings and some people to inspire me to. Yeah, and that's lovely. So a message that I got from somebody at the weekend is that I need to sit with a piece of paper and start drawing. Well, I'm the worst artist in the world. I don't think there's anybody worse than me at drawing. But they said there may well be a spiritual connection with that somebody's going to help you with that. So at some point, when I can slow my busy head down, I may well sit down there and take that piece of advice, because I'm not an artist, so I'm not going to be competing out there for anybody's artwork. But it's another string to the bow. Hi, I'm sorry I'm late. I'm getting ready to go and see the doctor. Well, thanks for tuning in anyway. It's really appreciated. It was, I'm just doing I'm basically doing this to get my arse back on YouTube, doing the lives. I want to build up the Facebook again, but it doesn't look like anybody's joined in from Facebook yet. So, okay, that's one that I'll just tack on the chin, and we'll look at again. But I was just making a few points about life and progress and things like that, and I'm just grateful for anybody coming on there. So thank you very much. I have a meeting with the MP tomorrow. Well, good luck with that. We'll all send you out some hearts and good wishes and good thoughts, and include you in the healing prayers as well. So thank you. So yeah, if you could hit that like button, that would be appreciated. Well, hi, wifey. Does it feel like another council house? Right, on that one, yes, it does, because that is what you want. Right, so if you keep pushing your energy towards that, then if law of attraction works, then that's what you're going to get. But don't think it, know it. Take it in your heart, know it, pull it towards you. Pull it towards you. Keep putting your positive intent out towards it. Because the thing is, life's a series of moments. So when you're in one moment, you're around the corner from the next moment. And it's the bit that we process in between that maybe slows the pace down. So just keep putting out positive intent and you'll get what you're looking for. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. And thank you for the lovely message the other day. That was very much appreciated and very on point as well. I'd say I'm just basically getting myself back on here. I can't promise any consistency, because I say my mood's been so up and down with things. I am really good at what I do. And then when I turn around and say that, I instantly feel this like egotism, big-headedness, that how dare you say this sort of thing. So it's things like that I have to battle. What I want to be very clear on, what I'm good at, is working with other people's energies. I can support and guide them and help them, but I'm an empath. And I'm one of the worst for when there's a saying that comes out called physician heal thyself, which means look after yourself first and heal yourself. Well, I give and give and give and give until there's a point where I get knocked down and I physically can't get back up, or mentally, spiritually, emotionally, whichever it is, can't get back up. So they're the times where you have to stop and listen. So with this, it's getting back on here in baby steps and then assess it. I've put a couple of videos on today, so it's a big tick for me that I've actually managed to get my arse in gear to come up with a couple of ideas and put them out there. I've having to work hard to come away from the fact that they're not being well watched, but I'm a small channel. So I look at this that you put in there, that progress is progress, no matter how small the steps are. So you just keep going. Right. Can I ask for a card for my husband? He needs a bit of upliftment. Right. Okay. There we go. Right. Okay. Oh, there's a lot going on, right? So there's a lot of cards that are coming out, right? When I've sat there, the back of my head has suddenly started to feel tense. There's like a pulsating in there. So there's a very big. Your husband's got a very, very busy mind. And the word that's coming through for me is prioritizing. What is important, right? Is it getting involved in this? Is it getting involved in that? Or my sense is needing time out to recover from whatever's happened over the last couple of years. So in that sense, what is important to him at this moment in time? Where's he going to go to for guidance and advice? So we've got and this is where I struggle with my teeth here. We have got the Hierophant, and the Hierophant is kind of like stuck in a pattern. I always call it when I'm reading for the clients, it's like trying to do a 3-point turn in a battleship. It's all possible, but to do that actually takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of resources. So maybe what I'm unsubtly saying is your husband needs to take time out and look at the way that he thinks and approaches something. If you're stubborn and set in your ways, then maybe flexibility is needed to solve the current problem. Because the thing is about when you do NLP with anybody, and the saying is always the same, if you do what you've always done, you will get what you've always got. So maybe this is just a time where he's just got to pump the brakes a little bit, be a little bit gentler with himself. There is opportunities around him for practical upliftment. So we've got the 8 of Wands there, and the 8 of Wands there, if you want to do the stereotypical thing, is about going off on an aircraft somewhere, taking off somewhere and having a break. But what I like to look at it is with the 8 of Wands, this is about getting something off the ground that you're passionate about, something that you want to get going, something that you want to profit or benefit by. And it's always traveling over fertile ground. But like with anything in life, and I'm pretty sure that he'll be the same as me, nobody ever gives you anything. So you have to put the intent out there to the universe to provide the utilities or meet the people or be in that right spot so that you can get this thing moving and off the ground. Focus on what is important to you, right? Don't be getting tied up in the little intricacies of things. Do more out there that gives you that upliftment, right? You're not daft. So one of the things is that I've said, and I've highlighted this to a lot of people just lately, it's just made me think about this. Have you ever been motivated by being shouted at or being berated or being put down or told you're not good enough? No, right? Pretty much anybody that I've ever met said no. So why would you put yourself in that mind frame of, oh, this ain't working, I'm not good enough, I can't do this, I can't do that, I'm flat, and all the rest of the labels that we put on ourselves? We wouldn't do that to anybody else, so why would we do it to ourselves? So my sense is with him is to give him a big bottle of what Del Boy over here, and I hope this translates well across there in Only Fools and Horses, a big bottle of Jollop, which was called tonic. You know, some sort of upliftment. If whiskey's your tipple, because I've got a gentleman's energy that's coming in and offering you a glass of what I believe is a single malt, because it's got that distinctive smell about it, and tip in a glass. But if it's something more medicinal, then that is your choice. But there's just this sense of you needing a tonic or some upliftment because you're focusing on a loss or sadness. So the 4 of Cups for me is all about an air of indifference, like couldn't give a shit. I call it the state of me. I'm like that. It's nothing really wrong, but it's not really right either. So I'm not motivated to make any changes. So I think with him, it's a mindset thing where he's got to look at how his cloth's cut, and where he's going to end up is in the space where he needs to be. So that is the 10 of Cups. And the 10 of Cups is a lovely card because it's all your ducks in a row. But like with anything, we've got to work to get there. So this is emotional stability, but it's going to take work. And when we're looking at this taking off, we've got to do things that our fire and our passion is in so that we can apply ourselves, so that we can get that result and that reward. So I hope that makes a bit of sense, because that was how I was linking in. Not exactly the way that Annabelle does it, but oh dear. I have ADHD, I turn to food. Do you know what? Right, I was told recently not to focus on the fact that I believe I've got ADHD, but as I say earlier on, it does impact me. And what I found is I'm back in the gym but I'm back on the gym on the condition that I train in the way that I want to. So I don't like cardio, so I'm not doing it because that won't get me through the door. There's certain things with food that I like my cake, I like my biscuits. So I'm trying to eat things in moderation rather than saying I'm stopping. I've had a back injury that I've got to manage and work through, which through treatment is getting better. So you put all of those together and you manage the situation. My downfall, honestly, is my mindset when I come in. So if I have a, like, for instance, I went out somewhere last night where it wasn't a very good turnout. So I come home and I'm reflecting on, and the mood takes a plunge and I'm straight in the cupboard where the biscuits are. Don't need the biscuits, but it's that feel good factor of having a bit of chocolate, a bit of biscuits. But I don't think it's a sin. What I think it becomes a problem is when you use that all of the time as a coping mechanism. If you become aware of that, I'm not saying you're going to ever stop having things like that and turn into food. But if you can become aware of that and then start to moderate and ask yourself, right, do I really need this food? Or is this something else? Is it emotional? Another good way of doing it is, do I need a drink? Because sometimes the hunger pangs are the fact that you're dehydrated. If you're dehydrated and you have a drink and you're still hungry, then maybe you do need the food. But it's when we're looking into having things like with a high sugar content that we're looking for a feel-good chemical. And that's the thing that I become acutely aware of. So when I go to the gym, I can't justify eating huge piles of crap just because I've been to the gym and done a hard workout. There's got to be more to it than that. So I look at both sides of it. It's not just about the physical aspects of lifting and things like that. It's also about the emotional aspect of why I'm going in there. So a lot of my training is I'm going in there. Yeah, I enjoy lifting weights because I always have, but it's leveling out my mental health as well. So well done for going and doing Slimming World, and I hope it gets you what you need. But always remember, you master your own destiny anyway. So people, unless they're in your mindset and experiencing what you're experiencing, often if we're getting people that are in a sort of lower vibration, it kind of like all joins together. So sometimes it's just be mindful of distancing yourself. Yeah, get the support that you need, but always remember you're strong enough to run your life in your way, right? Other people will help you with advice and guidance, but always remember who's the chief architect of your life, and that's you. And the only person that's qualified to judge you in any way, shape, or form is you, right? Yeah. And you know what? And I echo that sentiment. So thank you very much for that. Healing thoughts and healing prayers. And I am not a religious man, and I'm not here like pushing any agenda or anything like that. I'm just one of these guys that in my mind, I'm this spiritual warrior. And the reason that I do the work that I do is because I don't want people to suffer on my watch. So I don't understand everything that's going on. But if I'm round and about you, the one thing that I've always been good at, even if I'm not knowing what I'm doing, is standing shoulder to shoulder. So sometimes that can just be a case of just listening. It can be, just supporting while somebody rants and vents. It doesn't always provide a practical solution to things. But the thing is about being in that vibration when you're upset, you're grieving, or you're angry or frustrated or anything like that. Everything has got its own vibrational frequency. So sometimes just by venting it and getting it out of your system, yes, it doesn't make any difference to things longer term, but what it does do is it gets it out of your system so that you're not continuously processing it. Because the thing is with that is that becomes your fuel. And if that becomes your fuel, that also becomes your vibration. If that's your vibration, you attract the same sort of vibration as you're in and around, and you notice more of the things that you're trying to avoid. So it's always, for me personally, I'm not lecturing anybody, it's always a good thing to stop and look at what is generating your mood. What is affecting your mood? Is it an environmental thing? Is it a literal thing? Is it an illness? Is it your medication? And looking at coping strategies for how you deal with that, how you process it, because it's no good somebody telling you need to do, because what tends to happen is people go, well, that and withdraw. It's too much for me to cope with. It's too much, and I shut down. Because what I found with all of this, what I'm dealing with, is the more choice I get, the less I'm going to make them, because it's like, oh God, it's just too much to deal with. So I withdraw and I shut down. So this is kind of like coaxing somebody out of a cage as well, a little bit, that you put a little bit on and just go, right, just a couple of steps forward. That's all we're asking you to do, a couple of steps forward. Right. What does it look like from here? What does it look like in an alignment with your goals and your ambitions? And then if you can get your thoughts to match your goals and your ambitions and then put the action together, it's actually called being incongruent. So if you can get everything in alignment and then set yourself a goal and you keep your focus, you're going to arrive at that destination a lot quicker. Because if you just go, right, tomorrow I'm going to make wholesale changes, I'm going to take that risk and throw caution to the wind, what likely to happen is you take a heavy fall. And if you take a heavy fall, you then got to dust yourself down, reassess and start again. Whereas if you keep consistent and you use things constructively, it's like laying a slab down, that if you keep the slabs in line, you're going to end up at the end of that pathway somewhere. And hopefully it's at a destination of your choosing. But if your mind takes you off on a tangent, which people with ADHD and the rest of it can do, you've got to be like pulling them in. Right, no, we need you back here. We need you back here. And if you're severely affected by it, that can be an absolutely knackering job. Right, so it's pulling it all back in together and just going, right, whereabouts am I? And sometimes it's on an hourly basis. It's checking in with yourself. Right, am I where I wanted to be at the start of the day? Am I just existing? Am I doing anything towards my bigger term goals? Is it the day where I need to do this? Well, only you can know that. So I always look at when we're sending out healing thoughts and healing prayers is, right, be kind to yourself, okay? Yeah. I'm laughing not at your comment, but my mother-in-law used to weigh herself before she used to go to her classes to see whether she could have a victory meal or not. And if she'd put on weight, she won't turn up, and she'd go somewhere and have a meal anyway to sort of commiserate herself. And I never understood the logic. I never understood the logic, because when you go to things like that and you're paying them money, I'd want value for money, and value for money with me wouldn't be like if I'm putting on weight, I would want to know why. And sometimes it's difficult when people put it on your toes and just go, you're the reason why that's happening. And then if you retreat into that, and it makes the sort of anxiety or the upset that little bit worse, and then you comfort eat, and then it's that vicious circle. So I just recognize that a lot of my issues with food are mood related. So if I can control and deal with the mood, then the likelihood is that the eating thing will fall into place. But again, when you've got this sort of thing about you that you like traditional food and you don't like certain trying new things, you like safe, again, that can promote issues. And if I don't get what I want, that's it. Well, I know I'll be all right with pizza and chocolate and things like that. And I do it. I admit it. But recognizing it for me is half the battle. Right. Let's see. Oh, brilliant. Congratulations. Well done. It'll come. It'll come. Right and divine timing. It will right and divine timing. Right. Thank you. Right. Pearl, I love to support artists. I would. Right. Oh, there you go. Hook up, ladies and gentlemen, and see that. Gotta go. Thank you. Thank you very much. We will walk out the other side of it. Yeah, I agree. Thank you very much. Bless you. Thanks for tuning in. Let's just catch up with these comments and wait to hear from my daughter. Lovely. Right. Yeah, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. She'll be well looked after. Thank you very much. Yeah, I am. I think what it is, right, with that comment is that when I did all of this, I felt so much pressure. And what I want to make clear about this is nobody's ever pressured me through this, but it's self-generated. And there's that thing of needing to be right, not in upsetting people and things like that. And at the beginning, following people's teaching. And I got to the point of just going, I'm not being funny, but like when you stand on stage in front of, I don't know, 50, 100 people, and all eyes are looking at you, you haven't got your teacher, you haven't got your support network, you've got you who's the performer that's in the real life moment, and your trust and your faith in the spirit world. And I'm telling you, if you let yourself fall to pieces, that can be a very, very lonely place to be. I've always disagreed with people who are arrogant. I don't have a problem with arrogance as such, as long as you can back up what you're saying. So anything where I perceive where I'm getting ideas above my station, I immediately get that message that I'm being arrogant, which I am anything but. So what I struggle with is praise. I struggle with praising myself. So this is why I devised that thing. If somebody insults me, I say thank you. If somebody says you've done well, I say thank you. Because for me, I just see myself as a spiritual conduit that is put in moments to help people when the time is right. And that's not down to me. And I just think that, well, whatever I connect with is meant to be. This is why I don't filter it. This is why I don't change or alter it, because it's not for me to do that. I don't feel like I've got the right to do that. So I just give it literally as I've got it. I don't placate anybody because I'm not cute and fluffy. Obviously I care about people's feelings, but at the end of the day, I'm there to give you what is being passed through. And I'm not the important part of that. So thank you for the compliment, though. I agree with that. And thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Autocorrect. Yeah, thank you. I'd appreciate that. Yeah, I really would. Yeah, he's... I'm trying to think what I don't know how to do him, or I would put that in for him. I've not seen him on YouTube before. I don't know as we've connected on there, but yeah, he's a very gifted medium, very gifted, and you can tell the energy likes him as well, because when he was stood with me, you can actually it's almost like when you stand with somebody that's connected in fully, it's like a crackling, it's like a lightning, and you're tapping into that energy. So yeah, he'll sit there and you'll look at him and he'll just deliver. His wife was saying yesterday that he hasn't got that element of showbiz about him. Well, you don't need it, do you? You don't always need it, as long as you're delivering the messages. As I explained to him, the reason I've got that gift of the gab is out of pure nerves and anxiety. And what I've realised now over these last 2 years is that's my mask, right? It's not saying that is me, that is how I manage, that I am that showbiz person. And no. When I go on stage or I connect in with this, I click into that role, I play that role. So it's easy for me to not feel insecure when I'm playing that role. That's why the waistcoat came about, because it was something to hide behind and hiding. But when you get stripped back raw to your true essence, you're what you need to be to who you need to be to. Like, people will walk out of demonstrations and audiences, that was shit because they didn't hear what they wanted to hear, or they didn't like the delivery, or I was too coarse and the sweat. And I accept that, because that's their choice. Am I going to change my way to accommodate other people's opinions? Absolutely not, because I wouldn't know how to do it. I honestly wouldn't know how to do it. I've tried it where I've gone, right, before you say anything, think, right? Before you let a swear word slip out your mouth, or something inappropriate, or whatever. And what happens is your analytical brain kicks in then, right? And you lose your link between spirit and the connection that you've got to the energy. So now what I have to do is warn people that I may well say something inappropriate. I may well swear. It's no good me trying to think about it, because then that's not my spirit side. That's the analytical part of me. And that's the part that I don't know very well. I don't know the true raw essence me. So sometimes when I get on these, that part of me will pop in. But when I'm connecting in with the spiritual side, that's not me. There's a performer there. So it's finding that balance. It's finding your delivery spot. So thank you. Hi. So I don't know how far behind I am. Oh, a long way behind the comments, right? So, okay. Is there anything coming through from me at all? Yeah, brilliant. Valerie is ready for her council house. Yep, absolutely. Hi, Tanya. Hope you're well. Yeah, and he's Right, and I say there's a gentleman's energy in the spirit world that's bringing him out healing, but I know this is going to sound a little bit wishy-washy, but he just needs to get out of his head more, if that makes sense. Maybe go for a walk somewhere, or just find a different avenue to focus on. I'm very fortunate that I live less than a quarter of a mile away from the woods, and I just find that being in where the trees are and being away from the people and the energy just replenishes my soul. It's sometimes when you're like going over and over and over things that you just get stuck in that motion, and it doesn't help you and it doesn't hinder you. It just keeps you in that place. So sometimes we have to stop the hamster wheel and get off. I tell you. All right. Sorry, I've got behind with these because I've been waffling, haven't I? But is anybody still on here that wants the cards? Would I be able to ask when I'm meeting my life partner, please, and what to look out for, please? I'm going to be honest with you, Lucy, if you're still on. I'm not that type of reader. I always look at like the practical side of things. So are you in a place there where you're ready for your life partner? Are you in that space where you're healed from previous relationships and difficulties that you've had? Where do you actually go out? Where would you go to meet this prospective partner? Have you considered what this prospective partner's qualities that they must have? And again, once you're cosmic ordering and ordering your life partner out there, what orders are you sending out there? I'm listening into a lady's energy out in the spirit world for you, and I hope this is resonating well. That you've got to kind of like mother yourself a little bit at the moment. You've got to nurture yourself. There's a sense that you're burning the fuse at both ends. You're burning the candle at both ends, and this has become just a distraction. Now, I'm a big believer in energy attracting energy. So if you can focus on building yourself up to the level that you are capable of, then you will attract a partner of equal value. But if you're going out there depleted and you've not recognized any mistakes that you've possibly made in the past, or the type of person you've attracted in the past, then if you've not made the necessary alterations, you will attract that part of the universe to you again. So my sense is there's still part of your healing journey that you need to complete that will give you that confidence before the timing is right. My gut feeling to say to you, without knowing this, but just a feeling, is that it won't be this year. And what you need to look out for is what you want, right? Be very clear what you want. Don't have anybody that's going to use you. Don't have anybody out there that wants to put you down. I want to know that you're going to be clear speaking. You're going to be truthful. You're going to be honest about what you want, because yes, I've been married a very, very long time, but it's about compromise and levels. And if you're like putting yourself in and you're putting 90% of the work in, then that's not a good compromise. That is you being used. That is your energy being utilized for things that aren't benefiting you. So you want people with shared interest. So find out what your shared interest is. Find out where you would go to get with that person that's got those shared interests, and spend time. And your natural vibrancy and your natural energy will attract the person to you that you need. So again, not a prediction, but just an observation. So I hope that makes sense for you. Thank you. Right, Jim, that's cool. I've been going in the gym since I was 16. I'm 53 now, so it's like a love affair. It's the only mistress I'll ever have in my life, because sometimes I absolutely love her, and sometimes I could throttle the bare bones out of her, because a mirror doesn't lie. Aging doesn't lie. You can't hide away from your injuries and your experiences and things like that, mood swings, but it's always there. So there's times when I go back in where I absolutely love it, and there's times where it's a grind, but I go in there at the moment, and it's a coping mechanism, and it really is helping. Right, okay, we have someone. Yeah, do you know what? I got one of those when I was about 15, and I didn't realise that you were supposed to fill it up with like a softer stuff because it just came as a flat bag. I didn't look at the instructions. I did my usual because I don't read instructions, and I filled it up with sand. So when sand gets the damp in it, it compacts and it goes like concrete. So I didn't have any gloves on. So that didn't last very long because I ended up with a very blood splattered bag where I'd smashed all my knuckles in. But the good thing was about that, and when we looked actively about that, was I was that knackered that I couldn't be in a depressed state anymore. I couldn't be any more upset because I just burnt out. Oh dear. Do you do? Yes, I do. Let's see if we've got any banners on there ready that I can just let's just show that. There we go. There we go. So you can contact me on here or email me at mediumrick007@gmail.com, and that would be my sort of thing, or message me on Facebook if you're on Facebook, or just leave a comment on here and I'll get back to you. Is the simple answer to that. So I'll just hide that and get rid of that and get back to the comments for you. Thank you for the call. Hello, Leslie. Hope you're well. I'm glad it's true to you. I'm a pathological people. Yeah. Oh God, yeah. Oh God, yeah. Yeah. 100%. I'm getting better, and the reason I'm getting better is because it gets fecking exhausting by completely trying to do that. Because I've had this thing in my mind just recently, right? And in my mind is, and I've done my level best to block it out, but essentially people don't give a shit. Right, and a lot of what you think about what other people are thinking about you, they probably haven't even noticed you. So you go all out 100% because you want somebody else to feel better. You deplete yourself so you don't feel better. And then they don't even recognize what you've done for them. Because essentially people are that wrapped up in their own needs and things that they'll look up every now and again and give what little energy that they've got to things. But essentially it boils down to nobody really gives a shit. And once you can accept that and you start to like work on yourself first and then give out, you know, your energy and all the rest of it, you'll stop trying to please people. You'll start working on pleasing yourself and looking after yourself. Because just imagine that, I know it's an old thing on Facebook, but you can't pour from an empty cup. You really can't pour from an empty cup. So being a people pleaser is non-beneficial. So save your life's hours and please you. Bless you. Thanks very much. I appreciate that. But as I said earlier on in the video, I'll never take compliments like that. But I do tend to get them, and it's funny. It does make me smile. But all I look at is I just tell the truth. It's my background. My parents used to say that, you know, it'd go in one ear and out my mouth, and that's tend to be what it's been like with my spiritual development. What it is, what's forming. And this is why I believe that there's part of the issue with me is that there is that autistic part of me, because there's no filter and there's no handbrake. The times where I call it foot in mouth disease, because I've said something and it's the right, what I've said is being correct, but it's not been appropriate in the way that I've said it. But in my mind, it sounded a lot better up here before it came out of my mouth. And I get into so much trouble. So I have to warn people now. I'm like Marmite. Some people will think I'm absolutely brilliant, and other people will think, what a knobhead. But you're entitled to your opinion. And I'm saying I'm 53 years of age, and I'm not going to change. So it's up to the people whether they'll tolerate me or not, you know. Leslie, we'll get there. Still here. 80, thank you. Right, let's just keep going. Remember the card, right? I know my word. Brilliant. Right, brilliant. Great. Yeah. Let's just get through these. We'll just catch up there. A high value man. I love it. Right. We'll set the intent out there that you want a high value man. Start listing what qualities that you want from them. Where you would need to be to know that you're happy and that you're contented, and build up and build on that and keep sending that vibration. So if you know your worth, settle for no less. Yeah. Middle of next year. So if you give yourself a year, that gives you plenty of time now to build up to what you need. Right. I'm ready for my partner. Thank you for reading. No problem. Yeah. And that I 100% agree with. He will show up when you least expect it. Right, sorry. Let's get round to Adi because she's been very patient in there, and I just need a slug of tea because I'm getting a little bit parched. Because I do see all the other YouTubers saying don't go on for longer than an hour, and then I'm also on somebody else's thing who can sit here for 6 hours and do it. So I'm conscious of the fact that I'm going to be on longer than the hour because I've gone on longer. But this was a test for me to get myself back on the horse. So if guys deleted it, I'm not really fussed. I've actually stuck with something that I've told myself I'm going to do. So I'm quite happy with that. It'll get the viewers that it merits. All right, cards are coming out left, right, and centre for you. Ooh, right. So on a tarot basis, all right, I'm going to kick you up the arse a little bit, Adi, because I'm not sure who you are, whether we've met before. But there's a sense with you that you're operating below your capacity in a spiritual way. So you need to start listening to the lady that is talking to you at the moment in the background. She's telling you you're ready and it's time to make that next step. But I always call this the big girl pants moment. So my sense is with you, it's now time to make that next step. And the only obstacles and blocks are you, because I've got the devil card there, and the devil card for me is when you're bound by something. So you're distracting yourself by doing something rather than, dealing with whatever the thing is there that's right in front of you. So when I interpret this card, traditionally it's about somebody it's Adam and Eve chained to a block of concrete with the devil behind. So it represents choice. It represents the duality of life as well. But when I read this devil card in my tarot deck, the devil's actually on fire. Now, the devil actually started out as a figure of fun before he got bogged down with all of the extravagances and started doing things that he shouldn't. So when you bring it into people, they're distracting themselves. So people that do drink, drugs and things like that, they're doing it as a distraction rather than facing up to the reality. So when the devil card comes in, it's a case of just going, right, whatever's causing you pain is what needs solving first. Right. Once we can solve that, we can allow ourselves then the luxury of just going, right, that's that done with, that's that closed off, that's that finished. I can now move forward. So I then need to look at healing myself. So I've got enough energy to make those moves forward, because there's something in your psyche that is burning you now, whether that's a loss, whether that's a sadness, whether that's an anxiety or a depression, but that needs facing up to. That needs careful management, because my guide is saying that you need managing with kid gloves at the moment with something. So there's an air of sadness of something that you need to sort of come to terms with so that you can allow yourself to move forward. But what my guide has just also brought in is in regards to some decision, don't get burnt twice. Right? Okay. Don't know what that is in context with, but don't get burnt twice. You've got the hanging man again. And the hanging man is being in that state of suspended animation. So it's just kicking the heels on something. So this is where you get your big girl pants and a big spiky boot up your bum to get yourself moving forward. Because I'm being told that I don't know what it is that you do around your area, but I feel like there's a lot of people doing it. But you've got more talent in your little finger than they've got in their whole body. So somebody's a really massive fan of yours. They're just waiting to connect in with you so that you can make that next step. All you've got to do, I think, is agree with it. Are you going to be successful? Ultimately, yes, you are, because you've got the world, and the world is about the completion of the phase or cycle. And it's all about celebratory times. It's all about enjoying the results from your efforts. And do apologize for my distraction here, but my cards have just fallen over and I've just got them all upside down. So I want to shuffle them and things like that. And also, I've just looked at the card there that's just popped out as I'm working with it. Think about whether you're moving house, premises, or an area with something. Potentially in there. If your heart is not into something, then it may be time to make that move. Okay, so thank you all. In a world where it was, yeah. And if anybody wants to watch the fitness hutch on there, you'll get exactly the same thing, but just not in a spiritual manner, because he's kind of like that with it. but I have said one or two things to him over the time that's made him stop in his tracks. And I just say I picked a road. Right. So this is where my sort of analytical mind comes in. Right. So when you're looking at this, you put yourself into what if land, right? It will be new to us, but I'm wondering, are we happy there after we adjust? You haven't got there yet. So don't put any stumbling blocks, don't put any intent out there, because spirit might take that as, or the universe might take that as that you're worried about that and you don't truly want to go there. So what I would say to that is go and experience the experience and then make adjustments when you've made that transition to wherever it is. Don't put anything out there that can take you off path. Concentrate on getting there. And then it's like when you get there, you might walk through the door and the curtains are wrong or something like that. But it's no good at the minute sat there going, oh, well, if I get there and the curtains are all wrong, that's going to throw me off all over the place. You won't know until you're actually in that environment. And this is the problem with the mindset, because the subconscious mind records everything as fact without checking for reference. So if you've got a fear generated about that house, that will we settle? Are we going to be okay? And that's what you focus on. That is what is recorded. Your mind then, your conscious thinking mind will drum up all of the scenarios. The subconscious will store it as a recording, and then your brain will bring in an environment that suits your thoughts. So you're going, right, I'm going to this place that I know it's going to be new to me, but am I actually going to be settled without actually experiencing it? Without actually getting there and giving yourself a chance to go, well, it's this, that, or the other. So be very mindful of the vibration that you put out with that, because that is a down the road thing. And the difference between here and there is only the letter T. So on that, I'll have another swig of tea. Here, you can influence. There, you can't until you get there. And when you get there, it becomes a here, so you can change it then. So don't start trying to change an imaginary scenario that doesn't yet exist, or you don't want to exist, because we give life to things that we put our attention on. Right? We give, we progress down the line that we give most thought to. So just be mindful of that one, okay? It's a big move. Right. Yeah, well, don't hope, know it. Know it, that when you arrive in the place where you want to be, that you will be where you're meant to be. Because you're in a being, and this is the thing with people, when you're in sort of places of stress and you're in places of like indecisiveness, put your hand on your heart. Like, just sit there for a while. Sit there in that energy and ask the questions. Because the thing is about your higher self, it's with you from birth till when you pass off this mortal coil. And it'll never lie to you, because it wants the best for you, because you're on an evolutionary journey anyway, that you're either here to learn something or you're here to succeed, and everything else is part of that pathway of evolution. So you ask the question, and the spiritual side of yourself will answer in a way that you can comprehend, because it's the only filter that we have, because it'll tell you in a way that you understand. So again, just sometimes just sitting in that healing vibration, in that heart space, and just going, am I going to be all right? You'll get an answer. It might not always come immediately, but you will get an answer. And then you can walk towards it, put your energy towards it, and then you will be where you're meant to be. Just a thought. Just a thought. Right. Have I missed anybody? So please, because I'm looking at getting off, and I apologize for waffling, but I really appreciate you guys that have been on, because I didn't realize how long I was going to be on. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you being on, wifey. That was very good of you to just come on there. I appreciate that. Anybody there that I've missed that's still on, let me know. And because I'm going back there and I don't keep up with the comments, I've got to be honest. If not, right, Tanya. Okay, yeah, Tanya. Thanks for sticking with me. So it was a bit of a thing with me that when I did this today, that I just, as I say, just wanted to get on here and just get back into into the scheme of things, because I do shows and events and do private readings and homes and things like that, and I end up getting distracted because, like this week, I'm doing single tarot card readings for the event at the weekend and putting my effort and energies into that. So that'll take most of the week, along with all of my daily tasks. And then when you come to a week where there's not a lot on, then this is where my mindset then tends to come back to. But the trouble is I find something, I find a reason why I can't do it. I can't go on there. So today, right, I'm going to make myself accountable, put out there that I am going to show up. And this is the thing, this is the key thing about when you agree to something, show up for yourself, because the only person you let down when you don't, it's not the outside world, it's not YouTube land or Facebook land, it's yourself. So you don't owe anybody explanations for anything, but that's how my mindset works. So let's see where we're going with you. Yeah, as I said on there, do private readings, and you can contact me if you like. And I will be on doing other things as well. So 3 cards for you. You've got the world again. This is great. So this again is about successful completions of things. So there's an element with you, Tanya. I don't know what it is, where there's a decision for you. I don't like the term crossroads, as I've said many times before, because it for me, it's like somebody going, I want you to give me the impetus. I want you to give me the direction. I want you to tell me what direction to go in, because I'm not quite sure. Well, nah. You get what you focus on the most. So my sense is with you, whatever this decision is that you're wrangling over, there is a successful outcome, but it's kind of like you stood in the middle going, And much like I was saying to Valerie there about what you focus on is what you take yourself towards. When you're on that that moment there where you're looking at a pathway of choices, I would call it, and you do nothing, then 3 months down the line, you're going to be still have done nothing, but you'll have used 3 months of your life's hours and progressed nowhere. So what I'm telling you is, whatever decision you're most drawn to going forward, whether it's a career decision, a house move, or something like that, you're going to be successful. But you've got to start it, because to get an ending, we've got to do the start bit. So the world for me is all about completion of that phase or cycle, and it's going to be successful. So being proud of your achievements. And what my guide is saying is with you, that it's been a 5-year build up to get you to this point now. So you've done extremely well to get to this point where you are now. You've had your recovery period, you've had your dips, but now is the time for you to focus on that last push to get you to the line, because you're nearer the success than what you actually realize. And this is not a card to be feared, because it never means literal death. Death for me is the ending of a phase or cycle. So there's something there. So if you imagine that that's a bit of a counterbalance to that, this is the last thing that we need to knock down, because the thing about death is, once we put that full stop moment on something and we get the end of that phase or cycle, we've got the rebirth moment, we've got the excitement, we've got the transformation. So my feeling is with this, without knowing the context of this reading, is that there's something there where you've got loose ends to tie up. Maybe it's an expectation, maybe it's an adjustment, maybe it's a healing period or something like that, where you've been triggered by past events or something like that. You're in the right phase, you're in the right place. So sometimes, just like I was saying about wifey's husband there, sometimes I need to take a couple of steps back and assess whereabouts you are, what it's took out of you to get to this point here and now, and know that transformation is very close. But sometimes we just have to press that button and grit our teeth while we were in that rebuild phase. So something needs to finish. We need that acceptance of that finished part to allow us those last few steps towards victory. And this is usually comes in for me. So the 2 of Wands is about the pathway of choices. So I know I'm on the right sort of line with this when I'm reading in this way with these 3 cards. What I'm going to say to you is, I've got a lady's energy in the spirit world that says that you can be a little bit awkward, that you can be a little bit stroppy at times. Well, if you're that, great, because it means you're an individual character. So if you're not happy with the 2 choices that you're being offered, how about taking the pathway down the middle that's yours, that you design? Because 2s are all about partnerships and what you align yourself with. So this is the start of an idea that you've had, and we're heading towards that completion. So again, when we're looking at this, what we're aligning ourselves with, and a lot of this talk has been about the vibration of like when you're in difficulty, it's got its own vibration, sadness, and all the rest of it. But equally, so's happiness, so's upliftment, so's self-empowerment. So what you align yourself with, that's your toolbox. So you are on the right footing. You just got to make those decisions and stick by it. Okay. So thank you very much. Moving forward with a suitor. Right. Yeah. Decision with making. Right. Now I've got a bit of context. There's something you need to get over when I see that death card, because if you've got anything like that you're holding back from, I know that in new relationships, if I can take my scrambled head that far back, that I had a lot of upset with partners in the past, lots of negative experiences. And what you end up doing is you carry part of that into your next relationship. Well, that's not fair on the people there, because they weren't there. They didn't bring all of that stuff in for you. You new people are new people. So there's an element of vulnerability with that. And I get how uncomfortable with that can be. So my sense is just baby steps. Trust yourself. The cards are saying that if you can process this ending, then what you're lining up in partnership with, do it in your own way. But you are on a successful road with it. Just got to trust. Okay. Thank you very much for the subs. He says, thank you for the subscription. I appreciate that. And I'm trying to. The thing is, when I was a kid, I had an accident and I fell forward and I pushed all of my teeth forward. So you have an overbite anyway, but I had quite protruding teeth. And they had to be braced and put back in. So there's certain words that I fall over a little bit. So I'm always mindful of slowing my delivery down, because what I believe to be the ADHD is sometimes I can gabble. And when I gabble, and there's lots of stuff come out. So it's sometimes just like having to slow the pace down. It's not that I'm slow, but the delivery needs to be more deliberate so that you can get your point across, because I get that excited and my brain's cleared off to the next thought that I'm going, oh, hang on a minute. Whoa. We haven't finished the point that we was making to that person. It might have been important. So it's very, very, it's difficult with me. Right. I am looking at getting off. So, I'm going to do one last reading there. Oh, a message from my dad, please. Let me just, right. So I'm going to be honest. When I sit there, for me, mediumship is not a guarantee. So like if somebody says to me, right, I want to come to you for a mediumship reading, I would say to him, right, I'm not your reader. And the reason that I say this is because I don't guarantee that I'm going to make a spiritual connection. I would say 98% of the time, somebody will come in, but I'm not one of these that would say, oh, I guarantee that person's going to come in, because I don't want to disappoint people. Because like I was saying earlier on in the broadcast, I'm a people pleaser. But what I will say to you, Leslie, is as you've asked that question, I'm just going to sit back and absorb. So the gentleman's energy that I'm picking up, and you'll have to tell me whether this is relevant or not, passed from some condition that was either heart related or in the chest. Right? I'm feeling a tightness going down towards my stomach area. So towards the end of his life, I would have felt like he's lost quite a bit of weight as well, because he might have been struggling to breathe and eat at the same time. There's an anxiety feeling that's being presented around you at this current moment in time. And he's basically, I feel this gentleman is stood with his hands on your shoulders. Now, this is the thing where I inject my sense of humor. So I hope you understand this, that I'm not being insulted. I've learned over the years, and I've been married to my lovely wife for 30. We've just celebrated our wedding anniversary in April. So that was, where are we? So 29 years I've been married, nearly 32 I've been with her. That saying to her, calm down over anything would not benefit my future health. So when I'm delivering a message at the moment to somebody that I don't know, I'm very mindful of the fact that I don't want to use the words exactly calm down, but my sense is lowering your vibration, because my feeling is like, and like everything is down on your shoulders, everything is your responsibility. And this is why I was saying about sometimes having to slow down so that you can actually process through the bits that are going on around you, because like everything you think about is not priority, but the world can make you think it is. So sometimes this is just that sense of, I feel like somebody's just massaging your shoulders and just going, right, let's just bring it down a little minute. Right, your opinion's not valid. Go away. Your opinion, I've got it, but at the minute I'm not going with that. Right, just let me just get myself together. Let me get myself gathered so that I can understand what I need to do. What do you expect of me? What do you think is going to happen? And then I will tell you whether that's the road that I'm going to go down. So at the end of it, what I feel with him is that he's preparing you for this. It's almost like you're at that top phase of the mountain where you're nearly at the top, but don't sort of push on ahead without having the gas to do it. So you're in a pause moment at the minute, but you're in a pause moment for the reality. The simple thing to say to you is that he loves you, even though that wouldn't be something that he would pass on all of the time. My sense in some way or another, when he passed, he might have whispered something like that and somebody didn't quite catch what he says. But he says it in such a light tone, I love you. But it's like in a quite breathy way, because I feel, so he's just passing on his love for you, right? And never, please never doubt that. And he's showing me a red rose. So the red rose for me, if you can't literally accept the rose with the red is about strength and self-love. So he's giving you all of these roses and says, you might be the rose between two thorns every now and again. He says, but he still sees you in your true light. So just trust yourself, and be kind. Just be kind to yourself. There's a move in some way or another. So there's a pathway of choice coming up for you, and I feel like it's quite soon. But he's going to be there wherever you go. So rest assured, and get some sleep. Right? Get some rest. Right. I'm going to make Becca Boo the last one, because I'll be honest with you. What I've started to recognize with this, I'd sit on it and I'd go on for hours. But my brain has developed this new twitch and this new habit where it's gone, I'll get to a certain point. And I've read about this with people with neurodivergence and ADHD. And I've just gone, oh, that makes sense. Like when I do an event, I give 100%. Right, I want everybody to be happy, as I said, perpetual people pleaser. But it's not possible because people have their own opinions and they're entitled to it. But I did an event the other night where I got like 7 or 8 people left to read for, and my brain just went, I'm done. Right, I've run out of gas. So I now start to recognize early when those signs come in, because then you start to think, it leaves a gap for your analytical mind to start adding things. The thing about the way that I work is about the spiritual connection. So this is not my thoughts. This is not what I would agree with or anything like that. This is, imagine tipping marbles down a chute, and comes down the chute and out of my mouth with no filter, and I pass that on, and I'm very grateful to do that. But if I start getting tired, I haven't got the fuel to do that. And then I honestly feel like I'm doing people a disservice. So I start to recognize when enough's enough. So when I get here and I say it's the last one, it's not because I don't want to do anymore. It's because my brain's running out of the capacity to actually manage it. So I was just reading your comment there, right? One thing I am gonna talk about just briefly on here, right? I don't know that I've got ADHD or anything like that, but I raised the subject about 25 years ago with a counsellor, and she told me that if I had, it would have been recognised years ago. So no, I haven't. And that's kind of where it stopped. So what I'm going through now, and this has all been triggered by my dad's passing, is an awareness of what my life's been like. So I'm going through that mourning period of, if I'd have got help, if I'd have got some more understanding at that point, would my life have been any better now? And I'm not talking about the experiences I've had, just about the way that I've had to deal with the anxiety and the depression and all the rest of it. So I'm now in that space where I'm going, right, I need to manage whatever my mind is, whatever label I've given myself. I need to find a way of managing it because it's all real to me, whether it's diagnosed or not. I don't want medication because I don't want to go down that route because I personally don't believe in that. I want acknowledgement by myself that it's okay to be that way. And I also want to know how to manage it for myself personally. So I'm researching and I'm doing everything that I can to understand the way that my brain processes. So if it turns around and says, we're done, we're done. Right? If it turns around and says something, right, I might need to challenge that, but I might need to look at how much energy I can give to that and whether that's likely to be successful. Am I hyper-focusing? Have I forgotten to have my dinner? Like for instance, here, this is one of the prime things. I'm now sat with half a cold cup of tea because my focus has been on doing this work here. Whereas when I brought this up there, the focus was on I need to keep myself hydrated because I don't want the headaches or the hangover that comes after working intensely with spirit. So this is all about managing. This is all about recognizing yourself, your skills, and how you do this. So I understand completely. I say I'm not looking for any labels or recognition or anything like that. I just want to know what the bloody hell's going on. And whether I'll get round to going through the diagnosis route, I seriously doubt that, because having the patience to sit down there and go through all of the paperwork and all the rest of it for what aim, I don't know. Just so that I can tell myself, yes, I was right in the first place. And I truthfully think that you know you better than you know anywhere else. So maybe, I don't know. It's one of those things at the moment that I don't know the answer to. So it's one of those sayings that I hate it at the moment, but it is what it is. Right. So last reading of the day. So thank you very much, guys, for sticking with me. It's been a small audience, but it's been an absolute pleasure. Those that are meant to be here are meant to be here. The only ones that I'm a bit surprised at is that nobody showed up from Facebook. So I don't know whether there's a connection issue, but thank you for everybody that's took the time out to subscribe or offer me a comment. I really appreciate it. Right. So, Beckaboo. This is a lovely card, right? Because this is the High Priestess, and the High Priestess floats easily between this world and the etheric world. She helps provide the link. She helps you tap into untapped potential. She's the one that she is the mistress of mysteries and secrets yet to be revealed. So around you, there's some information heading your way that will open your awareness to something. It may well be something that you've been dreaming about that's been on the back burner. So have the confidence to step forward confidently into whatever this information gives you, because none of it will be negative. So if you're getting inklings, you're getting pushes from the spirit world, maybe it's just time that you started journaling and diarying whatever's coming through and writing down a series of plans, just little bullet points about where you are, where you want to be. Are you in line with where you want to be, or do I need to make adjustments? But the High Priestess has got information there for you. So just watch out there, particularly around dreams and things like that. So if you have very vivid dreams, just write down anything that you've got. Don't fixate on it. And I know that's easy to say when somebody's got ADHD. Don't fixate on it. Just write it down and just naturally flow with it. So maybe a week later, when you've had a message or something like that, if it's not something that needs to be acted on, just look at it a little bit further on down the line and then just see whereabouts you're going. Start to notice the synchronicities around you, because you'll then align with whatever this purposeful moment is. You've got the holiday on the plane card, but it's also about time for things taking off. So it's lift off with something. But like I've said all along, when you get to an 8, that means you have got to have put the background work in for it to get to take off. So it's about passion. It's about what you're fired up about. It's about what you want to get yourself involved in, because whatever we do, good, bad, or indifferent, as I've said many times on this broadcast, has got its own vibration. So what we look at with this is how much we put towards something. So if we're in arguments or disagreements, or we need that ending, then we're still putting a lot of energy into that. But what's the payback? So my sense is to say to you, over these next few months, consider what you're passionate about. Consider what you want to invest in. Consider what direction you want to go in, because we're ready for takeoff. The start of a long journey, but sometimes it's by air and over in different countries. So it may well be a connection with, like, through the internet, for instance, where you're doing readings or guidances or structure or something like that internationally. Who knows? But put your skills and talents to good use, because there's a conversation that you need to be had that will pan out as the year goes on. And how are you going to do that? Well, a lovely card to end on. You've got the Empress, and the Empress is that the mother energy, is the loving energy that gives it in that, nurture, the hug, the gentle energy that comes in from the spirit world that just wraps their arms around you and makes you feel safe, helps you sort of keep yourself centered and grounded. Very gentle energy. It's almost like a breeze, like, as it comes in, but a lot of love that's being sent to you. And whoever it is that you're trying to contact in the spirit world, that I believe that you haven't found, if that makes sense, please understand that I believe you're astral traveling. So there's a likelihood that you may well be going out into dream state and actually meeting that person face to face. So this is why I feel that it's important for you to consider what words you feel like you might need to say, what you need to get out of your system. If you start being in that vibration, it'll make it easier when you have that out of body or whatever it is that you're doing that they're describing. Because remember, I'm just an everyday guy. I just get the images in my mind that you are traveling out of body. So you are going to meet with that person eventually. So don't panic. They haven't left you. I'm not quite sure. I feel it's a lady's energy, but she hasn't left you, but she's not quite with you in the same plane, if that makes sense, but she will be. And as you learn to trust, moving through those energy veils, you will meet up with her very, very soon. And she gives you a big kiss and she's waiting for you. And it seems to be like by the seaside, or I've got like this real romantic sort of image in the background where I've got cliff tops and I've got a seascape and she's kind of like waiting on the beach. It's very, very dreamlike. It's that very dreamlike state. So don't be surprised if you start getting these dreams soon where you're on a beach and you're walking towards somebody and you recognize who this lady is. Okay. And I'm going to stop there. Don't try do. Okay. Don't try do. Always remember, because that's the intent that you set. If you say I'll try, you're already perceiving that there might be a chance that you won't do it. So whenever you're putting the message out to spirit, I will do. And then you take feedback from the experience and then you do again if you need to make any adjustments, but you're not trying, you're doing. And on that, because I am burnt out, I'm going to say thank you very much, because no way did I expect to be going on for nearly 2 hours, but I've done it. I'm very proud of that fact. So if anybody's resonated with anything that I've done, please like and subscribe. Tune in when I do stuff, because I'm dead random when I do things. I am going to endeavour to my level best to get on here as much as I can, but I can't make 100% promises on that. This has been an effort for me today to sustain myself and make sure I did this. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for watching, and do the best that you can until you know better. And when you know better, do better. So I'm going to leave that with you. Thanks a lot for sticking with me. Love and light out to you all. Thank you very much.